Geoffrey Clifton-Brown.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. Well, after that rant, I'm very pleased to be able to take part in this debate. And I have to commend my right honourable friend from Roxburghshire, Selkirk and Berwickshire, because I think it was one of the most outstanding speeches I've heard in this House. I first of all start with declaring my member's interest declaration as a farmer. Therefore, I've lived with this subject for some 67 years of my life. My father was a farmer. I have a passion for the countryside. I have a passion for British farmers producing high-quality goods, and I have a passion for the British farmers managing the British countryside in the way that it is, and that's the way the public want to see it continue to be managed. And I think this bill gives us an ideal opportunity, through the way that we're going to purchase public goods, to be able to continue to actually raise the standards of British agriculture. I've been in this House for 29 years. I haven't seen a single free trade agreement negotiated by the EU that has damaged British farming standards, and I don't believe that will happen in the future. I have listened to every word my honourable friend has correctly said from the front bench. What we don't want to do is to jeopardise those 29 or so rollover free trade agreements from the EU by passing legislation in this House tonight that would actually do such a thing. So whilst being passionate about high standards, I don't think that this legislation tonight and the amendments 12 and 16 are the way to do it. The way to do it, as has been so rightly said by my honourable friend, is through variable tariffs, making it quite clear to our trading partners that if they don't adhere to our high standards, we will raise the tariffs on their goods. And that is the way to do it. The second way to do it is to beef up the Trade and Agricultural Commission. Now, I do say to my honourable friend that she can do this, the government can do this unilaterally without any legislation. They can simply renew the term of the Trade and Agricultural Commission. And I would urge her to have serious talks with the DIT to see whether that can be done. It doesn't need to be put in this bill. We don't need amendments in this bill. We might need to look at it in the trade bill if the government aren't sympathetic to my arguments, but that's a different matter for a different day, and I might well support those sort of amendments if I don't see progress. So, Madam Deputy Speaker, there are lots of things that I do welcome in this bill, and my right honourable friend has been so right in to mention them, particularly the Government Amendment 2 relating to multi-annual assistance plans for farmers. This is absolutely vital, how we're going to support our farmers in the 21st century. We want them to be producing more of the food that our British consumers eat. As I've been in this House, I've seen that actually more and more imported goods into this country, whereas in fact, if our farmers could start to produce more to replace those imports, things like yoghurt and cheese, all could be replaced and produced in this country. And if we keep our high standards up, we will continue to export more and more to other countries. We've seen recently pork going into China, milk powder going into China, my excellent Cotswold lambs going into France. There is a huge opportunity around the world if we keep our standards up. So I think that is the way we need to go, not by dumbing everything down, by keeping the standards up. And my right honourable friend is absolutely right. And finally, I'm delighted to see that some of my ideas on food security in Amendments 5 and 6 are also included in the bill, because that's really important, and that gives our farmers the stimulus to produce more and more of the food that we want to eat, the high-quality food. The one thing the coronavirus lockdown taught us was that those supermarkets that actually promoted British food were the ones that really did best. Supermarkets like Waitrose and even Lidl, who really have gone out of their way to promote British food, are now prospering in the way that they haven't before. So don't put this in this legislation tonight, but do it by tariff.
Dave Dugan.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. And in following the honourable gentleman, I'll seek to not resort to unpolite comments such as that which he directed to the honourable member for Brighton Pavilion, because what he couldn't see was the embarrassment on his colleagues' faces when he made those comments. So, Madam Deputy Speaker, I rise to speak in favour of Amendment 16. What is at issue here is the clarion voice of the people on this matter, and it's our responsibility